Beyond the chains and the dehumanization, a particular form of cruelty unfolded in the depths of breeding farms during the era of slavery. It is a heartbreaking truth that tugs at the very fabric of our humanity, evoking emotions that cannot be contained. Witness the stories of families torn apart, mothers robbed of their children, and the relentless struggle for dignity amidst unspeakable anguish. How did the existence of breeding farms intensify the struggle for dignity and the preservation of familial bonds among enslaved individuals? Prepare yourselves for an emotional journey as we bear witness to stories that will touch your soul and evoke a profound sense of empathy. The 19th century American slave market exploited women. The market sold pregnant slave women, showing little concern for their health. Slaves were raped, became pregnant, and had poor postpartum care. They were meant to recuperate and become pregnant after a few weeks. Slave women were treated like breeding machines, and their capacity to bear offspring became prized. The 19th century American slave market neglected the physical and emotional health of enslaved women. Slaves were mistreated in America. Slavery dehumanized slaves. This cultural shift allowed bondage victims to be mistreated and denied rights. Slaves were property, valued solely by their owners' profits. This dehumanizing process stole their independence, liberty, decision-making capacity, and fundamental human dignity. Many Americans traded slaves. This showed how dehumanized and objectified they were throughout their lives. Slaves were mistreated like objects. The slave trade was founded on evil. Slaves, particularly breeders, suffered greatly. Because having children was valued, these women were pressured to have them as early as 13. They usually had 4 or 5 children by 20. A system that forced slave women to produce children exploited their weakness. The 19th century American slave market sold pregnant slaves. They say the darkest moments in history reveal the true strength of the human spirit. Can you imagine the pain of having your children taken away from you, never to be seen again? It's a tragedy that unfolded all too often on breeding farms during slavery. But what drove slave owners to engage in such cruel practices, disregarding the bonds of family and love? A woman's life as a slave in America was a loop of being raped, getting pregnant, and not getting proper care after giving birth. These women were given very little help and time to heal before they became pregnant again within a few weeks. They were treated like things, and their bodies were only used to make more slaves. The cruel and barbaric way they were treated shows that no one cared about their physical or mental health at all. Slave and plantation owners constantly traded and rewarded enslaved women, and raising slaves became a big part of the wealthy domestic industry. Slave breeding methods were not only cruel, but they were also very demeaning. Women who were kept as slaves were promoted as breeding stock to get more money when they were sold. The fact that so many slave babies died and that natural increase was emphasized showed how cruelly their ability to have children was handled. Some slave women were even told they could be freed if they had a certain number of children, which shows that their lives were based on transactions. The stories about breeding farms, stockmen, and how profitable this business was show how much slave women were seen as goods. Their bodies and ability to have children were used to make money, and slave masters and sellers would brag about how many slave children they could sell.